I don't know about you, but I hate warm downs. They're so boring. Like after a workout, I just want to stop running and go lie down and have a shower. Like if I were to give someone advice, I'd probably tell them to do warm downs, but I just can't be asked. But what I've actually never done is gone through the evidence to find out whether my intuition is correct, that warm downs probably don't do anything, or if I'm just a lazy fuck. Like I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've actually done a warm down, and usually it's always right after like a race or something when I feel like I kind of need to because my legs are like full of lactate, which might or might not be the most optimal thing to do, to just come inside and lie down. Now when I think about warm downs, I think about the potential outcome measures that you'd have to find to see whether they actually work or not. Like for example, does a warm down actually reduce your likelihood of getting an injury? And does a warm down actually improve your next day performance? Or is it a load of shit? We're gonna find out. So here's an interesting article from 2018. Do we need a cool down after exercise? A pretty straightforward and to the point title. I love it. Yes or no? Now this paper is a narrative review of the current evidence. A narrative review is basically like getting a pretty good idea of the validity of a hypothesis across many studies that can't really be directly compared. Comparing a data set to another data set in two different studies is what would be a systematic literature review. So it's a little bit different. But for myself and my bad warm down habits, this is probably good enough evidence for me. So there's lots of reading here, but we're gonna go to the main thing that I want you to look at, which is figure 2. You know what? I'm just going to remake the whole figure myself. So blood lactate and muscle lactate were found to be much better after a warm down. So that can go there, that can go there. So 2-0 to having a warm down. Now the next one is delayed onset of muscle soreness. That's how sore you get, but it's a little bit delayed. But essentially, it actually improved when doing warm downs. So that can also go there. So that's 3-0 in favor of doing warm downs. Now, an important one for me is the neuromuscular and post-run stiffness. That's how much it improved how stiff you felt the next day. And it was relatively inconclusive. So that's kind of a hard one to tell whether the next day doing a warm down is going to actually improve your run. So 1 point for inconclusive. Now the next one is glycogen resynthesis. Like, does it delay how fast you can actually recover energy-wise after your run? And yes, apparently there is a slight reduction in the speed of your glycogen resynthesis. So that's probably not good, especially if the next day you have a big fat session to do. So 1 point against. Now the next one is sweat rate and hormones. Is there a hormonal change if you do a prolonged cool down, and does your sweat rate change? I don't really know what that would be for, but inconclusive, so we don't really have to worry about it. Now the next one is immune system and cardiovascular benefits, and there were actually some cardiovascular benefits and some immune system benefits to doing a prolonged cool down. In layman's speak, doing a short cool down allows your heart to slowly calm the hell down and your immune system to not go into cortisol overdrive. That's pretty good. And so because of this immune system improvement after your run, you would think that your mood and your self-perception of well-being would be a little bit better, but they were inconclusive with that one, so no points. And same thing with sleep. It didn't really improve your sleep, but that makes sense because if you've just done 12 times 1K at 8 p.m. at night, doing a 5-minute cool down is not going to change the fact that you've just destroyed your body. And finally, but most annoyingly, injury prevention. There was only one study on that and it showed a slight improvement, but I would expect that there would be more evidence around injury prevention, but only the one study that they used in this analysis. But I'll give you the half a point. Why not? So it looks like warm downs are back on the cards then for me. Damn it. So So while the evidence isn't super strong, it does seem like doing a warm down is probably the best thing for you. And luckily for us, they actually made a couple of recommendations at the end of the paper from all the evidence that they could find as to how to best improve your performance. So recommendation number 1 was to have a really low intensity warm down, and that's so that you don't induce any more muscular fatigue. Now, recommendation number 2 is to have a warm down that is less than 30 minutes to stop that blunting of the glycogen resynthesis. And number 3, your warm down should be in the same modality so that you're actually clearing lactate and things like that from the same muscles that you've just used. So you probably can't walk for a warm down, and you probably can't get on the bike for a warm down. I don't know why you do that, but anyway. But all in all, warm downs are back on the cards, and no, I now can't get away with a couple of leg swings and then going and lying down. That's not going to happen anymore. So here is my new warm down protocol that I'm going to be doing from now on. 15 minutes of zone 1 jogging. And that's it. Goodbye.